Hey everybody, happy new comic book day. This is Caleb. As you can see, I am at least partially moved back into our house after 2.5 months after being displaced by a little bit of a house fire that we had. The Hubs and I are back in. We are sleeping at home again. As you can see, my office is still a hot mess. I've got books and stuff that I haven't gotten put up yet. Over here, there's a lamp that shouldn't be there. You see DVDs back up over right in here. So we don't have our living room all set up yet like we want it, but we're getting there. So the point is I'm back here, and I think if I'm not mistaken, this is the first one of these little webisodes I've done talking about New Comic Book Day. What I'm getting yet. So for those of you who haven't seen what my office is, welcome. This is where I live in the spare time. It's where I do my reading at when it's not crammed up and clogged. I do have the puppy dog hanging out with me. Where'd she go? She's being camera shy. There she is. Somewhere over in there. She's hiding. So she's going to come out and say hi. So if you hear her scratching, I apologize. But let's talk about new comics. It is Wednesday. Comics come out today. It's my favorite day of the week, and I get to talk about new stuff. So on top of my stack, the first thing I'm reading this week, bar none, Savage Avengers. Jerry Duggan, Mike Deodato Jr. For those of you who know me, you know that this is not a far stretch. I'll probably end up talking about this book on the show because, look, I mean, my love for Conan knows no bounds. He is my dude. I love that guy. I love that he's a part of the Marvel U a little bit. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it at first, but so far, I'm digging it. He's going to be doing some stuff in the Savage Land, which is perfect. It's the absolute perfect place for him to be. So for those of you, it is nighttime. I am having a little bit of a beer beverage. It's Love Honey from Lost 40 Brewing here in Little Rock. Really, really good stuff. A good beer. Next on the list, something I've been enjoying for a little bit, The Adventures of the Super Sons. Fun series. It is way different than the original Super Sons books. It is not... It's not of the same caliber, I will say that, but I am really enjoying it. It's, John and Damian doing their things in space, kids that are analogs of all the DC villains running around getting all kinds of shenanigans. It's a good time. Batman 70, I picked it up this week as I always do. It's on my pull list. Fingers crossed, from everything I understand, we're done with this fucking dream sequence. Pardon the French there, but thank God, because it was getting tiresome real quick. So a new series that I started reading about 3 weeks ago, and I binge read and got caught up, Green Lantern. For no other reason. I mean, number one, it's Morrison. It's good Morrison. So do with that what you will. But Liam Sharp's art is second to none. The man is killing it. Doing some of the work of his career, and he's had an illustrious career. So these layouts, though, like, just spoiler warning, just the panel layout, it's bananas. I mean, this is as high end artistry in comics as maybe comics possibly get. So it's good stuff. I like it. We continue with the War of the Realms, Marvel's big event, non-event thing, spinning out of Thor. I'm enjoying it so far. I love Russell Dauterman's art. I love what he's doing. His perspectives on things, the camera angles that he does, the in and out of focus, I think is a really great take on what comic art can be and what it can do. I've been reading Aaron's Thor, and I really, really dig it. I like what he's doing. This feels like a natural conclusion to at least part of an arc that he's worked on for a couple of years. A new thing is Descendant, #1 from Aftershock Comics. I picked this up because Craig recommended it. I think Craig recommended it because it's #1 Aftershock, and #2 he has good taste in comics. So I'm going to check it out. It's by Stephanie Phillips, who I've never read before, and Evgeny Bornyakov, who I also have never seen his artwork before. Flip through it a little bit. It's good comic art. honestly, the art is not what I expected from an Aftershock book, which is weird. This is more traditional comic art than maybe some of the stuff we've seen from Aftershock. Really excited about Black Hammer 45 this week. It's a fun series. I love the homage to the Blackhawks. It's Matt Kent, so I shouldn't have to say much more than it's Matt Kent. If I do have to say more than it's Matt Kent drawing for Jeff Lemire, which is kind of a dream team. I mean, that's comic book royalty, in my opinion. You know, it doesn't. You're going to be hard pressed to find two of the most innovative people, two more innovative people in comics right now, especially in monthly comics. Maybe in more of the graphic novel arena, but I don't know if I'd say that either. I don't know if you can see this, and I'm sorry about the glare. I've got to figure out my lighting situation again. This is Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 3, or volume 3, issue 1. I fell in love with this in the first run. They've been doing, like, in the first run, I forget which went where. Volume 1, I think the Turtles came to Batman's universe. Volume 2, Batman went to the Turtleverse. Not sure what they're going to go around in here, but it's James Tynion, the fourth, and Tynan Tynion, however you say his name, who writes Batman like a bastard. I love Tynan's Batman, but he's being drawn by Freddie Williams II, and Freddie Williams II is no slouch. That dude's got a very specific style. It's a painted style, but he's getting better at it, and I didn't think that was something that I was going to be able to say. He's leveled up, and there are some panels in this which will make it onto the SFG Instagram feed. So, with that being said, if you haven't went on and liked us on Instagram, you should follow us. We're all posting panel layouts, pictures, things. It's a fun time, but we post things from the books that we read that we really enjoy. Staying in the DC wheelhouse, kicking off Deceased this week. The best thing I can say, it's Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine, and that's a good combination. It's a young combination. I don't know, like, it promises to be a horror book. I think it's about zombies. I haven't read too much into the solicitation. I want to check it out. I like what Tom Taylor has done in the past. If you haven't read what he did on Injustice, you should. It's good work. I kind of stand by him, so I'm interested to see what he's going to do with this book, because he's really good with these kind of outside the box stories. I know a lot of people saw some art from this, and it was like an emaciated Superman, and they were kind of like, "The fuck is this?" And I don't blame people for that, especially not when that was the preview art. But I think that is going to go into the plot. It's going to go towards the largeness of the story. I want to check it out. I'm putting a little bit of faith in him, and if I don't like it, I don't have to buy it, right? Like that's the deal you make as a comics reader. If you don't enjoy it, drop it off. Make sure you call your local comic shop and tell them, hey, I'm gonna discontinue this off my pull list, so they're not ordering it for nothing. But other than that, that's all you're obligated to do. And hey, we'll see. I don't know. Check it out. Champions is dealing with the fact that Scott Summers is back. So if you're reading Champions when you had the young X-Men, you know that Scott was on Scott the young X-Man was on that Champions team, and there was a little bit of a love interest there with one of the characters, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it, because it's going to be awkward, because now he's all old and Cyclopsy. We'll see. I like Cyclops. He's all up in this. The Champions is filling that hole in my heart that the Young Avengers book has left, because we don't have that. And unfortunately, now the other book that was doing it for me in kind of that same vein was the West Coast Avengers. It's over, and so I hope I hope Champions is going to continue to fill that because those are two of my favorite. I never thought I would love a book with Gwenpool in it, but I do, and I kind of like what they're doing with that character. Fuck me, I didn't see it coming. Did you? Maybe so. I'm glad I took a chance on it though. But the Champions, having Kamala and having Miles and Viv and even Amadeus Cho as his new Braun character, it's really it's taking that place. I dig it. I dig it a lot, and the fact that it's Jim Zub doesn't hurt because Jim Zub's he's a good scribe. Uh, I followed his career, especially with the stuff he's doing with Marvel. He's somebody you should watch. I think he's going to be. He reminds me a lot of Greg Pak. So, and that's saying something. Greg Pak has his face in my little heart right here. He fits right there. If I had a pocket, he would be in there, but I don't, so he's not. Let's see, a book that I started off really liking, and it's kind of dipping. It's having that like middle slump. Is Dead Man Logan. It is the story that's taking Old Man Logan out of the Prime Earth back to wherever it is that he needs to go. Now that you've got main Wolverine back, and I want to say spoilers, but I want to say last time mainline Wolverine made an appearance, so you're getting to see those two people together. It's fun. He's been on the board long enough. He was never meant to be a character to have any longevity in the 616 universe, so it's time for him to kind of slough off back to the side until they need to pull him off the bench again, and I think that they will at some point, but it needs to be on down the road. Just go over there, go play. Red Sonja, which is a pretty badass book. I did not know what I was going to think about this book because I like Red Sonja and I like Mark Russell, but I think I like a different kind of Red Sonja than what I thought Mark Russell would write. He's good, but when you take a character that is the inception of Roy Thomas, who let's be honest, historically fulfills a lot of misogynist tropes, also fills a lot of feminist tropes. So she's an interesting, kind of unique character in that regard. But I mean, at the end of the day, she's a barbarian in a chainmail bikini swinging a sword. And I didn't know how Mark Russell was going to play with that, but he's doing a really good job with it. It's not the story I thought I was going to get. Maybe I'm going to go with Batman. It's not the story we want, but it's the story we need. And I'm liking it. I wasn't sure, but I dig it. I really do. Domino Hot Shots. Next to the last, the penultimate comic for New Comic Book Day. It's Domino. It's Domino and a team. I really dig this Atlas Bear character that they have brought out. Her little trio of badasses who, I mean, from different times in her continuity. It's Deadpool. Deadpool's playing a big part into it because it's Deadpool written by Gail Simone and David Baldion's art. I really enjoy I enjoy the methodology of his art. I think that's the best way to put it. He's doing a really cool digital style, but it's separated from a lot of the other digital artists. He's doing something that I can't quite put my finger on because as somebody who's not an artist, who is not inclined or driven to understand the different artistic techniques, who's just viewing this as a voyeur, so to speak, there is something that he is playing with in the digital medium that translates well to this type of book. I don't know if it's his use of action or the way he does his backgrounds, but he's doing some really cool stuff. And then a book that has clawed, climbed, scraped, struggled, and just ripped itself back up to the top of my pull list after being one of the worst books I read so far this year is Uncanny X-Men. when they did that first 10 issues, it was hot garbage. I'm an apologist about these things, and even I was like, this is not good. And all this Age of X-Men mess that they're doing is not good. But I say that with the caveat, anything after issue 11, you should read. And Mr. and Mrs. X, you should read. But this story has gotten, it feels like old X-Men. And knowing that it's going to be leading up to what Hickman is going to be doing, and it's going to be the bridge to that, I think it's something that is going to need to be read. I mean, look, Matt Rosenberg is kind of a surprise hit of the year for me so far. Him and Kelly Thompson both. And they weren't good together, but apart, they're making some waves in their respective books. And this feels a little bit like the 90s X-Men to me. And of course, so I wasn't reading X-Men in the 90s. Like, I know a lot of people were. And look, like a lot of you worship at the altar of Claremont. I don't blame you. That's not it's not my thing. But this pulls a lot from maybe the tone and the characterization shown in the animated X-Men series. And I dig that. I dig that a lot. So before I get off here, I did grab some little extras because I had some room in my budget, and I have all but rounded out my collection of Young Avengers Children's Crusade. Like I said, Young Avengers has a special place in my heart. Scarlet Witch, I've got more commission work done of her than any other character. She's kind of my girl. And so I'm trying to get a full run of that because it blends the two, and it's one of my favorite runs. So that does it for New Comic Book Day this week. Listen to our podcast if you haven't. I think you'll really dig it. If you have enjoyed this or anything like this, or you enjoy people talking about comics, listener questions, people talking about the news, giving their 2 cents worth, we've got a good show. I truly believe that, and I think lots of folks will like it. Lots of folks do like it, and you might want to be one if you're not already, because it's the hotness, it's the hype. So I'm going to get off here. I'm going to finish drinking my delicious beer. Probably do some reading, because why not? And I will catch you guys on the show. So peace out. Go forth and love comics.